My dear friends, this morning we woke to clearer news about what was taking place with the Russian invasion of Ukraine. In our world today, where we live in such an interconnected global society, we feel the effect of this moment. We see the suffering of those in Ukraine as missiles fall and tanks roll and fear grips them. As Christians, we have always known we were connected with each other through the body of Christ, through the Spirit that weaves us all together and supports all life. Many more in the world's great wisdom traditions also recognize this reality of interdependence. So this morning we feel the uncertainty, the anxiety, the fear. We are called to reorient and reground ourselves in our practice of faith. I had a completely different video to send you this morning to share news that our medical team and leadership are grateful that COVID cases have reached a point where we can loosen our use of masks some. I'm thankful that we find ourselves in such better shape regarding infection rates to relieve that pressure from our lives. Even as I know that some in the parish continue to feel the pressure of the virus and they remain very concerned about their health. I know that many others have not wanted to come to share in worship at all if masks were needed. It has been impossible to hold this space in a way that pleases everyone, and that in itself has weighed heavy for over 2 years. But today we find ourselves able to worship and pray together in a fresh way, and I'm thankful for that. It could not have come at a more needed time. We live in a world that feels precarious. That is the word that continues to come to me. Precarious. With economic pressures for so many, social injustices and tension, anger and frustration, manipulation and intentional misinformation, and political dysfunction. Precarious. I believe it was Bill Harkins, my pastoral theology professor, mentor, and friend, who taught me that the root meaning of the word precarious is very intriguing. We see its meaning having to do with uncertainty. If something is precarious, it is uncertain or even doubtful. But there's an earlier, more ancient meaning of the word, and it is obtained by entreaty or prayer. That is where my heart turns this morning, with this reality that we experience, where we realize that underneath our uncertainty is this deep calling for a posture of prayer, a practice of prayer. This is where we are today, in a precarious situation, in its deepest meaning. That being the case, I'm intentionally calling you to prayer and worship as a community. In a world that feels torn apart and divided, we need to stand beside each other, to kneel beside each other in our common prayer for justice, peace, and compassion. We need each other as fellow human beings in a precarious world. Now is the time to reorient ourselves, reground ourselves, to recommit ourselves to a practice of faith that takes seriously the struggle of human life and takes seriously the presence of God that is within our hearts and unites us to each other, opening our eyes to look toward the promise of hope and peace and reject the perils of insanity that seem to grip so many in the pursuit of power. In that spirit, my friends, I hope to see you on Sunday. I hope to join with you in prayer because we need it. I need it. My soul needs it. As we listen deeply to the story of the transfiguration and the disciples being overshadowed by the cloud of God's presence, with Ash Wednesday just around the corner. God bless you all, my friends.